Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Rayanda podcast, where myself and Ray talk about all things that help us look and feel 10 years younger. So, today we are talking about limiting beliefs because this is where it all starts. Basically, if you believe it's all downhill from 50, then that's exactly what you're going to get. And today we're going to deep dive into how we can identify those limiting beliefs, those little beliefs that we've been, carrying around for probably since we were little, that are basically affecting, our outside world. So we're going to break them down and then we are going to try and rewire them into something that actually supports us and helps us look and feel 10 years younger. So, Ray, I'm going to ask you the
Mm.
first question. So, when a woman believes she is too old, how does this affect her body and even the way she moves?
Well, your mindset creates a script that your body follows. So you tend to start to find that women will clench their jaws, they'll raise their shoulders, they'll scrunch their eyes. You're going to get a lot more muscle tightness. You're going to get a lot more pain in your body. Your nervous system starts to fire up an awful lot more, so you start to get more headaches. You're not going to sleep quite so well. You're going to have more cortisol in your body, more inflammation in your body. You're not going to heal quite so quickly. We also tend to find that whenever we think that's it, life's over, that we lose a lot of confidence. When we lose confidence, we naturally start to curl our shoulders, drop our head, which then takes our head forward, which means then that we are forward heavy. So we're more likely to trip over our toes. We're less likely to be able to pick our legs up, to be able to step up pavements, to be able to walk. We close down our body posture, which can also lead to things like depression. Shoulders raised, leading to postures of anxiety, and then that feeds back into the body when we start to get anxious and feeling overwhelmed. We then start to tighten up at the back of the neck. So I see an awful lot of people who get older, and the back of the neck is so short and tight, and it's just compressing that vagus nerve. So we then go into fight and flight a bit more. So we're not breathing quite so much. We're not oxygenating our body. We're not getting the circulation pumping quite so much. And whenever we have a mindset of negativity and smallness, our life becomes very, very small. Our comfort zone in life becomes very small. We try new things less and less and less. We have less belief in ourselves. And then that just goes into a complete vicious cycle of then you want to hide away, you want to stay indoors a little bit more. But also because we're then not setting goals, we're not motivated to go out and do any more exercise, we're building less lean muscle. So that's going to feed back into our skeletal system. Posture is going to get smaller and smaller because we don't have the muscles to be able to hold ourselves up and move through life with grace and with flow. Um, and mindset is everything. And you can change your mindset so easily.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it does all of that
We've done
whole
it.
mindset. Yeah, we have. And we are
We've
going to
done
get
it.
into that at the end, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to help you shift your
Yeah.
mindset. Okay. So I think you've got another question for me.
I do. What's the most common limiting belief you hear from women over 50 that makes them feel older than they are?
I think it's all just about what we expect being 50. I mean, I can't believe I'm 51. I just can't believe it. And I don't allow that kind of like idea that people hold about being 50, a 50-year-old
Mm,
woman. I don't hold it in my I just don't ever kind of like dwell on it or limit myself by it. But a lot of women I meet through work and that I just know, they just feel like once they're over 50, everything is downhill. So, your sex life is going to go, your skin is going to go, you're going to get joint problems, you're going to lose your energy, your sleep's going to be crap. All these things are going to happen, that it is all downhill for our kind of health and everything, our energy, and it's just not actually true. I mean, I am actually living proof that actually you can get more energy, look better, feel better. I actually don't think I've ever been healthier. I've never had more energy. People always tell me that I look, my skin is great. And, I never had that in my 40s. I had awful skin because I was just like really, really stressed all the
mm,
time. So my skin was very, very red and inflamed, and it's not at all anymore. So we just need to recognize that idea that it's all downhill from 50 is complete nonsense. But if it's a belief that we choose to buy into, then that's the exact reality that we're going to get. So we're all about basically rewiring that, because I think it can be all, it can be the next 50 years can be actually better than the last 50 years because there are so many good things that are happening.
mm.
for us. Even, I mean, you can even flip the way you look at the menopause. I used to talk to an awful lot of women when I was doing corporate wellness about the menopause, and they just had this preconceived idea that the menopause was just like the end of everything. When actually, it's actually the beginning, because you waste loads of energy creating eggs and lining your womb and all of this stuff, and then that just goes, and that energy is now available for other things in our life.
Mm.
And it's
And I
not just about, yeah, the energy. There's other things in that change with the way that we interact with the world and with people,
mm.
and what we suddenly feel like, how, there are things that we want to do that we've had to not do while we've been raising our kids and working all the time and that. So, yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I think there's also an acceptance that you have to make your peace with. You are 50 now. You're not 20 years old. And the things that you chased in your 20s, should you really be chasing those things in your 50s? And we do have to go in a slightly different direction because we are supposed to be wiser, we can be wilder. We are different to how we were in our 20s and our 30s. And I think once you make peace with that, and then you start to consciously look at things and go, well, this needs to change and this needs to change, and how can I do that? And this doesn't feel great. You don't have to accept that.
Mm, yeah,
There's so much out there
yeah.
now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's the beginning. I definitely don't think it's the
Yeah,
end or the
I
end.
I love
The
it.
new chapter, and it could
Mm,
actually be way better, because it's, I don't know, I feel like every year I get older, I get more and more authentic. I get more and more like, I don't give a shit what people think. I'm just gonna, I'm just tapping into something a little bit deeper within myself,
yeah,
that's getting away from all of the conditioning and the people pleasing and the shoulds and the, all of that stuff that we just carry
absolutely.
around our whole lives, basically. So yeah, rebelling, getting wilder.
Well, it's as you said, it's getting more authentic. It's just being honest with
Mm,
yourself. Do I really want to go out at night? Yes, sometimes I do, but actually a lot of the time I'm quite happy just to sit indoors and entertain myself doing the things that I actually want to do. And
mm,
that's so lovely just to go, that's what I'm going to do tonight.
yeah,
Whatever that might be for
mm,
anyone. It might just be something as simple as having a hot bath and going to bed with a good book, or
yeah,
sitting and having a glass of wine or a nice hot chocolate with your other half, or ringing your mom, or ringing your kids, because most of the kids our age are, grown and either at university or off
yeah,
living their own lives and traveling and stuff. But I think that we don't have to keep the pace that we did, and we don't have to live that life. And you
mm,
can still live that life if you want to.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Mm.
there's it's just acknowledging what you want.
Yeah. I found that this is just shedding a lot of sort of guilt. I think my
Yeah,
40s and my 30s were all, there was just always so much guilt involved in everything. I was never ever getting everything right. Whereas now, I just don't beat myself up about,
no,
what I think I should be doing or what other people think I should or shouldn't be doing. So yeah. Okay. So next question.
yeah.
What's a belief that you see all the time in 50-year-old women that instantly makes their body like do something negative, like tense up?
So so I think when you worry about stuff, and it doesn't matter what that is, if you unpick that and get below it, it's a fear of not feeling safe. And whenever things are changing in your body and changing in your mind and changing in your attitude, and certainly whenever you acknowledge those changes in what you want to do and who you want to be, you might find that you have friends that drop off. And if there's more than a couple of friends, you think, well, I'm the common denominator. What is it about me? But it's actually you're changing. But you stop feeling safe in those relationships. You stop feeling safe in your job, because part of you might want to change your job. And I think that when you can start to trust you and know that you can keep yourself safe, those other worries will start to go. And so we worry about financial responsibility. Are we making enough money to pay for X, Y, and Z? Are we paying enough into our pension pot? We worry if we need to move house, or if we've got relationship difficulties, or we worry about our kids, we worry about our parents. We're at that stage where the parents are getting older and the kids are starting to fly the nest, and it's just worry and worry and worry and worry. The other thing that I find I hear a lot from people is, I should do this and I should do that. Should sit in your shoulders, which is lovely because you can remember it that way. And the more shoulds you've got, the more your shoulders go up round your ears. And also that then creates a disconnect in your belly. So you stop losing that connection to your gut instinct. We stop breathing down into our belly. We stop breathing into that lovely rest and digest. And I think that those those all are limiting beliefs because they're not real. You've kept yourself safe so far. You can just let go of all that people pleasing. You don't have to keep everyone happy. If you start keeping yourself happy and do your self-care and look after you, you'll keep a lot more people happy. And so I see a lot of people that worry that they're responsible for everyone else, but basically we're all responsible for ourselves, first of all. At the end of the day, I can't be responsible for you and you can't be responsible for me. We can help each other out and hold space for each other. But yeah, I think that a lot of people, they just take so much, women especially, because they're always trying to make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. And then I think you've got one. Someone's got a question for
I
me.
do. So this is a lovely one. How do beliefs affect hormones, energy, and that tired but yet wired feeling?
Yeah. So I think the beliefs that you have with regards to like your the state of your actual like body is going to affect how your body reacts all of the time. So if you think that your hormones are all over the place, that's what you're going to be kind of wiring into yourself. And it's the same with like if you expect it, the reason why that's what you kind of manifest is because your brain, your mind is like trained to look for evidence of all of the things that you believe. So you have this kind of bias towards spotting the things that reinforce because the mind is kind of lazy. If it has a belief, it wants that belief to be true. It doesn't want to like change its beliefs. It's quite happy to just find evidence for it. So if you think, oh, I sleep since I turned 50, oh, my sleep is absolutely crap, you're going to notice the crappy night's sleep and then you're going to just reinforce that belief that you're a really crappy sleeper. And then the one time that you do sleep great, you just kind of gloss over that. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, you're constantly sorting for evidence to support these beliefs. So if you feel like
Mm,
your hormones are bad, that's what you're going to notice. And to be honest, I find that usually when women complain that their hormones are really really bad, it's actually other things, and it's actually sometimes it's just the belief that their hormones are bad that's causing the problems, but usually it's more to do with lifestyle. But if that is a really strong belief, it's very very disempowering, and it's like, oh, my mum had a terrible menopause, therefore I'm going to have a terrible menopause. That again is so, so disempowering because you're a victim then, and that if you're a
mm,
victim, you've got absolutely no control over what's going to happen. Whereas if you just more buy into what is actually the case, which is the whole field of epigenetics, which is that actually you choose what you express in terms of your genetic code by a lot of what you how you live your life and what you choose to believe. So yeah, I think that you're actually way more in control and way more powerful than you think. But you have to have the right thoughts because thoughts create the feelings, and then feelings create the actions, and then the actions create your reality. So
absolutely.
if you think, oh God, my sleep is terrible, and you're gonna feel really, like, disempowered and crap. So you might stay up and think, "Oh, no, I'm gonna sleep crappy, so I might as well, like, stay up and watch TV or whatever." And then your reality is you're gonna sleep really, really bad because you just had loads of blue light in your face. Whereas if you had the belief that, "I sleep great, I sleep like a baby," whatever, then you're gonna feel much more relaxed about going to bed. And if you feel more relaxed about going to bed, you're going to sleep better, and then you're going to wake up more rested. You're more likely then to go out and do some exercise, which is then going to help the next night's sleep. So, do you see what I mean? Like the thoughts
Absolutely.
actually basically cause that cascade: thoughts, feelings, actions, reality, and then a reinforcing. And that's why I love hypnosis because it changes the thoughts, and then it's just a positively reinforcing
Mm.
cycle as opposed to a negative one.
And I think also faking it till you make it. I mean, we've done a lot of Dr. Joe stuff, and that's been mind blowing and very mind changing for both of us. But also, you have to keep making the right choices, and everything that you say, your cells hear. So if you tell your cells, "I'm amazing at sleeping," "I'm amazing at sleeping," and you keep doing it over and over again, and you also set yourself up for a good sleep, then you are actually making it, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
creating that change. You're creating that change. Your
yeah,
future then
yeah,
becomes your present and your reality.
yeah. Because your thoughts
Yeah.
basically produce
Yeah.
chemicals in your body. Like if you see
Yeah.
a police car behind you,
Yeah.
you immediately start sweating and your heart
Yeah.
starts pounding. And it's because you've just put a thought into your head.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my license. I'm not going to be able to
Yeah.
drive. Okay,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's
And
all
it's
thought.
catching
Yeah,
that loop. And I think also um, just start to visualize the difference, see the difference, feel the difference. And then
yeah,
but I do think that you've got to consciously catch that yourself before you go into the loop.
yeah. Yeah.
And also, I think that worry is a really bad use of your imagination. I
Yeah.
really, I
Negative
know that
goal
we
setting,
all,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that we all worry. But if you can catch it and then go, okay, well, I was thinking about this, this, and this. Now, can I flip it and visualize this, this, and this happening instead? I know people think that's really ridiculous, but if you've practiced it as long as we have, and you can see how life has changed and how much better you feel inside, it's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's so difficult, but if you can just catch it,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, if you can't control the outcome, what is the point in worrying about it? If you just
Oh,
take the
absolutely.
action
Yeah.
that you can take, and then you have to just
Let it go.
let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would
All
completely
right.
agree with that.
So I have another question for you.
Sure.
Can you talk about how a belief can literally change someone's posture and
Okay.
pain and how
So
they breathe?
I believe I'm depressed. What happens? You just start to look down at the ground, you look into yourself, and life becomes very, very small. I believe that I'm confident. Power stance. Our body mimics exactly how we feel. And you can see that in people. And I think that even if you're starting to feel a little bit low, go into the opposite posture. Go into a posture of being open, going into a posture of lifting your head up, putting a smile on your face. I mean, it's interesting. You look at their studies now that show that whenever people have Botox, they can't feel emotions as strongly as they would have felt them if they didn't have the Botox because the facial muscles are paralyzed. And that goes back into the feedback loop into the brain. But also if you start to compress down and around the back of the neck, around where the vagus nerve comes out, that's going to have a knock-on effect massively in how you feel. And then you're going to go and sink deeper into that posture, that mindset, that belief, that emotion, that thought. And you can certainly see whenever people are overthinking, they look cross because they start to furrow their brow and they're really going into their face and into their head. Whereas if somebody's quite happy and at peace with life, they've got a beautiful, you can see the peaceful, you only have to think of a Tibetan monk, that their beautiful faces, the peaceful expressions that they have on their faces. So yeah, I think that certainly how we feel becomes our posture. Just look around you, you'll see it in people walking past you all the time.
And it affects. I think it affects how we interact with other people as
Of
well.
course it does.
Your posture. It
Yeah,
can be very, very attractive, or it can be very, very unattractive.
it
Same with
can.
your facial expressions.
And you
It's
know
gonna.
yourself
Yeah.
that whenever you see people with a beautiful open face and they've got the laughter lines and their cheeks always go up and smile, you know
Yeah.
they've smiled a lot in their lives, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that you will want to gravitate to. But if there's somebody who's always got a look of thunder in their face,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily going to approach them.
Yeah, I get really unnerved by people that don't smile. Like,
Yeah.
it triggers some kind of fight or flight in me, and it
But do
can
you?
sometimes be just the way they are.
Yeah,
But, yeah,
absolutely.
I get really bad reactions when they don't
But
smile.
do you find sometimes if you smile at people, they look at you like you're nuts? Why are you smiling at me? Me? Why?
Yeah, I remember when I lived
Maybe
in
that's just
London.
me.
Yeah, I used to just say hello to everybody. People think I'm a complete nut job, but I was doing so much meditation that it just made me want to say hello to everybody. The bin man, bus conductor. I don't do that anymore, and I don't
Ah,
meditate enough. All right, I think you've got a question from a community member.
I do. Let me find that question. Why does the brain hold on to unhelpful beliefs? Like, what's it getting out of it?
So basically, when it holds on to all beliefs, basically, because basically the mind's job is basically survival. So
Yeah,
whatever you believed yesterday kept you alive because you're clearly still alive today. So the mind will basically try and just keep that belief going. It's all about survival. The mind doesn't care about fulfillment, joy, growth and change and all of this stuff. It just really doesn't. It just wants you to survive. So, are you
yeah,
alive? What do you believe? Let's just continue believing that. That's why it's so hard to shift beliefs sometimes if you try and do it consciously, because your ego is always going to fight back.
yeah.
Which is why you sometimes take two steps forward, one step back if you're trying to make a big change. But basically, it will hold on to those beliefs because it thinks that those beliefs are valuable in some way. It doesn't want you to question them. It wants you to just keep doing the same thing.
And
And
that goes back to feeling safe again, doesn't it?
yeah,
If we worry enough about stuff, then we will make sure that we are safe. Because at the end of the day, it's keeping this physical being alive, even if it is not in a state of joy.
Yeah. So even the worst of the worst limiting beliefs, your mind holds them very, very precious and very, very dear.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's going to take some work to break them down. And that's why, affirmations and things like that don't tend to work for some people because they're in the conscious state when they're saying
yeah,
them. And already you're questioning it as you're saying
absolutely.
it, which actually is just reinforcing it, which is why, the best time to make these shifts in beliefs is either when you're falling asleep, when you're waking up, or if you want to do it in the conscious state because you don't want to do hypnosis and all of that meditation stuff, you can literally you just have to disprove that negative belief to yourself. So if you believe
Yeah,
a terrible public speaker, and that you just get terrible stage fright, you have got to get your ass on that stage and you have got to just do it, and then you survive because literally your body thinks that it gets confused. It literally thinks like if you make that speech you're going to die, so you have to prove to your body that you survived, and then it will start to break down that belief and you won't feel terror, from doing public speaking. So you can break your beliefs down in two ways. You can sneaky back door when you're like half asleep and half awake and all of that kind of shifting of beliefs, or you can do it in by just smashing it by proving an alternate belief, which is I'm great at public speaking, but you have to do the work to get to that. Do you see what I mean? So yeah.
mm. Does that roll out the same as podcasts?
Oh yeah.
Just do the podcast.
Yeah. At some point we'll believe that we're good.
It does feel like it's only just a phone conversation, though, to be
I
fair.
need to hypnotize us both if we're to be good at podcasting. Right, I've got a question for you.
Sure, sure.
So if a 50-year-old woman is thinking my body is slowing down, what's the one tiny physical reset she can do to break that pattern?
Just start breathing, I think. Because I think it's coming back to feeling like safe in yourself again. My body's breaking down. Your body's not. It's just not responding the way you want it to. And sometimes you just have to stop, pause, take a breath, and start coming up with a bit of a plan as to how you can build yourself up to what you actually want to be. And that is something that we're really good at helping people with, because a lot of people don't know where to start. And so I know that it's troubleshooting at the end of the day, isn't it? So stop, have a breath, pause, and think, where do I start with this? Do I need to get a little bit of help? But I think the thing is that my body's breaking down. What do? You just hold your breath, because it's the worst, isn't it? If we don't have this physical vehicle to take us through life and it's not comfortable, it's awful. It's most people's worst nightmare if it's not working particularly well. So stop, take a breath and just think, where do I start? Reach out, get some help, ask your friends what they do. And don't let it sit in your shoulders. I think just start with just going out for a walk and just breathing, get your face up to the sunshine, feel alive. I heard somebody last week say my friend's 55 and um she won't go to gym because she thinks this is it. She's old now. I was so upset for this person, thinking that that was it. This is it. Life's over. Like, it so isn't. I remember whenever I hit 40, I had the best workout I'd ever had. And I'd been working out consistently then. And I just thought 40 is not going to beat me. Then got to 50 and thought, right, what are we going to do now? That's whenever I bought a very young crazy horse and decided I was going to feel alive. I didn't actually do it for that point, but that's how it worked out. But yeah, I think that you until you take your last breath, your body can change, your brain can change, everything can just get better, and definitely having the mindset behind that, you
So
know.
tragic as well because this they've shown that the skeletal muscle mass that you have, like the lean mass you have on your body, is the biggest indicator to how long you're going to live and how
Yeah,
well you're going to live in those years. So
yeah.
that 55-year-old woman needs to get her ass down the gym and start lifting some weights.
Well, that's it, and weight training is one of the biggest causes with the most improvement in the body when you are 50, menopausal. It's the biggest. If there's only one thing you do, is start
Yeah.
lifting weights. And I've got a lovely friend who's an amazing PT, and she said that whenever she works out and she does her deadlifts, she's thinking, I need to be able to pick my shopping up when I'm 85. What does 85-year-old me need me to do now at 40? 4 she is.
Yeah.
And, being able to pull your trousers up, being able to stand on one leg to dry your feet so you don't slip. It's paying it forwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, because you're gonna lose a little bit every year, so but you don't have to. You can reverse that, you know? It's
yeah.
almost like it's optional, isn't it?
Well, it is,
We
it is,
know
you,
so
it,
much from the science now about
yeah,
building muscle.
yeah,
Even simple things like
absolutely.
taking, creatine and,
Yeah,
doing and there's hacks now, like to
loads of
build muscle
biohacks.
really, really quick and
And there's so much free stuff that you can access. So much free YouTube stuff that you can access just to help you. But I
yeah,
think the thing is, if you're just feeling like your head's, stuck, or you don't know what to do, there's so many people that are out there who can help. It doesn't have to cost a lot, doesn't have to cost anything.
no, no,
So,
absolutely.
until you take your last breath, don't give up. As a physio and
Yeah,
as a doc, you're a doctor. This is what we tell people all the time, don't we? Don't give up.
yeah, and the body can do absolutely
The body's
amazing things. It's a
amazing.
healing machine, isn't it?
Oh, it's always wanting to feel better, get better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we just stand in its way half the time,
Yeah,
basically, don't we? And then we
we do.
take medications that actually make
Get
it
out of
worse,
your way.
create
Yeah,
more problems. Yeah.
yeah,
You can always do, this is how I got into hypnotherapy. I had all sorts of, like, health problems. I started doing Paul McKenna on YouTube.
yeah.
He's
He's a
got one
great
called
voice.
Radiant Health, and,
Yeah,
it's like 20 minutes, but it did solve a lot of my
yeah,
health problems because he just hypnotized me every night to think I was in radiant health.
yeah,
And soon I was, and I've stayed in that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just changing the narrative. That's all. I think I've got another question for you, haven't
Yeah, I
I?
think you got one more, and then I've got one more for you.
Mm. If somebody thinks this is just my age, what is the quickest mindset shift to offer?
I think the quickest shift is to do, like, some kind of hypnotic recording for 28 days that rewires the opposite, basically.
Yeah,
And as it happens, I am going to do one, and to basically break down the commonest belief, I think, which is that it's all downhill. So what if it wasn't? What if we started to believe that actually things just get better
the
and we
magic
start to
happens at
focus?
menopause.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
start to focus on those positive things and
yeah,
bring more of that in.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that's personally what I think is just to to do, you know, do a little bit of hypnosis for 28 days and see how things shift and then start to do, other things and you can
yeah,
shift pretty much everything, but it all starts with that belief of yes, I'm 50 and this is going to be fabulous because that's
yeah.
the choice, isn't it?
Well, and the good thing is as well, we are offering a lot of 30-day, we've got a lot of 30-day plans, don't we? And those are great to be able to have somebody just hold your hand to
Yeah,
take you through. And certainly I've done a lot of your hypnosis, but I've also done a lot of Paul McKenna's hypnosis as well in the past. And definitely the 28 days makes such a difference.
yeah, that's how long it takes to make it.
Mm. And it's easy, isn't it? It's not difficult. Just stick it on. Yeah, just stick it on.
Yeah, so I'll put a link in the notes below. And then I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
What's one small body-based action a woman can do today to lose her main limiting belief?
Get your shoulders down from your ears, open your chest, lengthen the back of the neck and breathe. Face the world. You can do it. Let those let those shoulders relax away from your ears, soften your jaw. Just take the tension out of your system. Allow your body to come back into that state of rest and digest where your chest is open, your shoulders are relaxed, and you're allowing the tension to drop from your belly. Whenever you feel like somebody's kicked you in the belly or something's hit you in the solar plexus and you tighten everything up and then you go into a state of anxiety. Just drop the shoulders and breathe into your belly. It gives you time back and it gives you space in your brain and it allows you to feel that that overwhelm is just dropping away and you're in control again. We want to be in control. We don't want to be control freaks, but we want to be in control because then we don't feel overwhelmed. And I think I don't know about you, but if I've felt overwhelmed, it's because I'm trying to catch up with myself and I'm rushing. There's too much going on.
Yeah. Literally, just
Breathe.
something as simple as that, dropping your shoulders, because I just realized my jaw is really, really tense, and then taking that
Yeah.
breath. It literally will
Oh,
shift
yes,
where the
yes,
oxygen in your brain is going. Where is
yeah,
it going? Is it going to, that center of the brain that's all just about
yeah,
fight or flight, or is it gonna just get all of
yeah,
the executive functioning back
yeah.
fine? And that's
And
where
there's
you just that pause.
there's something just lovely. Like I was doing some breathing, 3 breaths, and the belly starts to relax for me. So everyone's it's personal for everyone. But I also find that if you breathe in through your nose preferably and then just exhale slowly out through your mouth, I find my edges soften and it just pops you back into your body, grounded,
Yeah,
everything softens, you let go, and you kind
absolutely.
of think, "Oh, oh, I'm here again. I'm back." Yeah.
Yeah, we make it so complicated, don't we? And we
Oh, we
feel like
do.
there's no way out, but it really is
And
literally just taking a couple of long,
yeah. It
slow
is, isn't it?
breaths
Just
in and out.
extend the
Yeah,
exhalation. Just do
exactly.
that. Yeah. That'll be
Fantastic.
my
So,
advice.
thank you for that, Ray. So we'll
You're
do
welcome.
the hypnosis to shift how we see the next, 10 years.
Yep.
I think that's it for today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Yeah. All right. Any questions? Feel free to, just ask us, and we'll answer questions, that you have.
Perfect. Lovely stuff. See you soon,
All
Miranda.
right. Take care.
Bye, lovey.
Bye. Bye, everyone.